Hey guys, thanks for coming by today. In today's installment, I'm going to talk to you about the different types of renovation loans that are available for you. Specifically, there's two main types. First and foremost, it's what's called a conventional renovation loan, and the second main type is an FHA loan, which basically is a government-related loan. You may be familiar with FHA with just your regular home purchase. FHA renovation is very similar, but specifically let's talk about conventional. With a conventional loan, as far as limits, your limits are the conventional county limit in which you're located. It's different for different areas. Most of them $417,000. There could be higher balance areas in different metropolitan areas, as well as some lower areas in some of the rural areas as well. High points, you can do a non-owner occupied, which is an investment property, or an owner occupied home. And again, this is on the conventional loan. You can do a 1 to 4 unit condominiums. You can do a purchase. You can do a rate term refinance or a cash out refinance. So you can both do refinances as well as purchases on conventionals. Frankly, you can do most kinds of work, whether or not it's structural, cosmetic. Couple of the key points: you do need to have credit scores that are over 660. So your credit scores have to be relatively solid. Down payment, anywhere from 5% down to 25% down payment. And that's going to be anywhere from a owner-occupied single-family home could be a 5% down payment, or a non-owner-occupied 4-family could be a 25% down payment. As far as the work that is done, we'll get into that in some of the other installments, but frankly, you just need 25% of the value of the work being done in equity to be able to be eligible for this program. So if you're going to be getting a loan in which you'd be doing $100,000 worth of renovation, you want to have $25,000 worth of equity in the home. So that's sort of the relation. So that's conventional. Next area is what's called an FHA renovation loan. Two main types. There's what's called a full renovation loan, and then another program called a Streamline renovation loan, commonly referred to as a 2 or 3K. Some of the main points on FHA, regardless of whether or not it's a Streamline or a full. 3.5% down payment. Has to be owner-occupied, so this one has to be owner-occupied. The limit is going to be located relative to the county as well, so the FHA county limit. 1 to 4 units, single families, multi-families, condominiums, mixed-use homes. Key points: home has to be at least 1 year old, and it has to have had at some point a certificate of occupancy. As far as the repairs and the numbers and all this, I mentioned 3.5% down. Real key point: that 3.5% down is including both the purchase price plus the renovation figures. So you add that number up, and it's 3.5% of that. If you were looking at a home for, let's say, $150,000 purchase price and $50,000 worth of renovations, it's a $200,000 purchase price. 3.5% of that is $7,000. So basically, you take the purchase price plus the renovations. That whole figure, that's the down payment that we need. 3.5% of that figure. Key points: the two types: FHA full 203K, Streamline 203K. Depends on the amount of work you're going to do. Whether or not it's under or over, essentially $35,000. Under 35 is what's called a Streamline loan. Over is called the full 203K. On the full, it's big stuff, structural stuff, ugly stuff, mold, moving load-bearing walls, conversion of a multifamily to a single or a single to a multi. You can purchase HUD homes. You can finance a HUD home as a housing and urban development, so HUD is like an FHA, HUD foreclosures. You can buy those homes. You can finance 6 months of your payments into this kind of a loan. You have basically 6 months to do the repairs, so that's some of the particulars, whereas in the Streamline, a little quicker, a little smaller. Couple different levels of control that you have on the larger loan, because it is over $35,000 and it can be significant. You do have to employ what's called a HUD consultant, which is a consultant that has been blessed by HUD to be able to be an overseer and almost an advisor to you. Streamline 203K. Probably about 70% of the business that happens nowadays is a Streamline 203K. This, same thing, 3.5% down, same benefits as I mentioned. Credit scores on FHA, just so you know, a little bit flexible. Usually about 600 and higher on a credit score, whereas your conventionals are 660. Mainly cosmetics, more of a simple repairs, whether or not that means kitchens or flooring, painting, appliances, removing lead. So a little bit less, more simple kind of stuff. 4 months to completion, so shorter to be completed. and because it's more simple, there's no inspections on most of the jobs up to $15,000 worth of work. If you have one job for 15 grand where they're going to redo your kitchen, you don't need to have multiple inspections, whereas more work, more inspections and such. So basically that's the rundown. The main two types of renovation loans: conventional, FHA. Conventional, you can do owner-occs, non-owner occupieds, whole slew of stuff. Very heavy, but your down payment's heavier and more restrictions. FHA, less restrictive, 3.5% down payment. You can actually have a good chunk of that even given as a gift. So lots of options, and then just depends on what's going to be the best fit for your property. Thanks for coming by again for this installment. Again, my name is Jason Perry. I appreciate you learning a little bit about renovations loans, and I look forward to talking with you soon.